Did you finally shake off the hacking? 45's consciousness gradually returns from level 2. Am I dead? Even if you were, I would have pieced you back together so you would continue working for me. Alright, now get out. I'm not dreaming, am I? Are you so eager to see me only in your dreams? The scene before her slowly resolves into clarity. There is no doubt that the person before her is Ange. She offers a hand to pull 45 up to her feet, then picks up the submachine gun lying on the ground and returns it to her. 45 looks up and flinches out of reflex because there are several tiny blank-faced Nitos standing behind Ange. G11 lies at her feet. She seems to have fainted from fright, but she doesn't look otherwise injured. 45 only comes to her senses when Ange shoves her weapon at her. She had been prepared to encounter all sorts of things, but she cannot make any sense of what she is seeing now. Besides, I've never heard of dolls dreaming before. Looks like you've changed jobs while I wasn't looking. I gather being a nanny is way better than being a state sec agent. Well, speaking from personal experience, I can say that babysitting is definitely more interesting than working as a government agent. Is it really alright to have those Paradise people behind you? If they wanted to kill me, they wouldn't have had to wait until now. Don't worry, this kid's on the track. 45 looks at the miniature Nitos again. They are also staring at her warily. Like 45, they are still feeling uneasy. Well, let's leave them aside for now. What the hell is going on? Where are the other Defy dolls? Good news and bad news. Which do you want to hear first? Start with the bad news. The bad news is that they're still in another room. The entire area is being, how shall I put this? That bastard with sick hobbies locked down all the passages in the lab. This lab's been physically and electromagnetically fortified. We spent a lot of effort finding a way into this lab. And the good news? The good news is that the internal circuits are still usable, so I could keep in touch with my subordinates. You also used those circuits to contact them earlier, didn't you? That's hardly good news. All I can say is that the enemy are a bunch of morons, considering they didn't even attempt to restrict internal comms. This base was originally abandoned, so there wasn't much of a need to set up internal security. If only all our enemies were so lax, that would make our job so much easier. How are things on AK-12 and AN-94's end? Do they have Nitos to babysit too? Pretty much. And they're certainly enjoying it a lot more than I am. Anyway, you came just in time for our scheduled check-in. Time to tell them our good news. Ange picks up the fixed mic on the wall. 12, can you hear me? Our reinforcements have finally arrived. Loud and clear. Reinforcements, you say? Have the female gorilla and her caretaker come back to us? Or have Griffin forces finally fought their way in here? All wrong, it's UMP45. So, it's the leader of Squad 404, huh? What about the rest of them? Unless my eyes are playing tricks on me, it's just her. Just her? Just the one. Alright then, though a single doll can do much, finding out exactly how much 404 hates their leader is a sort of reward in itself. I just saw your two other teammates. It seems that people dislike you as much as mine do me. So, you've already met. I guess you know how things are between us now. EOT-1 dragged G11 in here and 45 followed her through the Evans. Looks like we have a chance to disable the locks on these juveniles. It's true that she's the only one who can do both of those things. Finally, we've got a good card to play. I have to hand it to you for thinking of going through the air ducts. Since you found the air vents exit, why didn't you go through it yourself? None of us could fit through such a small duct apart from these juveniles. At first, we were hoping that she could head out and find Griffin Fosters so that they could blast through the door from the outside, but none of us expected her to bring back Miss UMP45, the weakest doll among all present company. I expected nothing less of Squad 404's leader. We are always exceeding our expectations and doing things we can. Well, excuse me for being the weakest doll here. If you don't mind, then I, the weakest doll, will gladly leave the way I came. After all, it's not like the weakest doll can do anything here. Stop wasting time taking shots at each other. 12. Sync your status with 45. While you were playing house with those juveniles, I tried establishing a connection again, but it didn't work out. My signal couldn't merge with those juveniles' consciousness, which means I wouldn't be able to reach their base layer. I'll keep trying while 94 fills you in on the situation. Hello, Miss 45. I'm glad you managed to get in here. I apologize, but time is very tight, so I will skip the details and only cover the main points. We infiltrated this base ahead of time with Eng and K. During our reconnaissance, we discovered this sealed lab and obtained some information Eng needed. However, Sangvi's forces suddenly showed up while we were scouting, and they began fighting with Paraduce units. The older Nitos went to fight the SF units. At first, we intended to investigate further, but then the lab was physically and electronically locked down. We lost contact with K and the other two members, and we could not leave this lab by ourselves. While we were trapped inside, we found these juvenile Nitos. Some of them were comatose at the time. Through connecting with them, we discovered that their neural clouds had been hacked and attacked by an August light signal. We decided to trace it back through the lab and found that those juveniles had ceiling access to this lab. If we can help those children shake off the attack, we might have a chance to get out of here. However, AK-12 and I are not compatible with the August protocol, so we are having a very hard time trying to enter these girls' neural clouds. Wait a minute, you lost me. So the Paraduce signals I detected earlier were these childlike Nitos? Actually, they are not Nitos. To be precise, they are juvenile test subjects who have not been turned into Nitos yet. So they haven't been mechanically augmented? Is that why they still look like humans? They are humans, 100%. So they're still humans? What lucky girls. According to the lab records, all the specimens that could become Nitos were shipped away. The only ones left behind were the juveniles that were of little value to Paraduce, as well as those who were not up to spec. So they're isomers? Isomers? That's Persica's name for the specimens who failed to become Nitos. Also, while we were in Tallinn, the AR team managed to secure a Nito individual with memories of the isomers, and she told us a bit about what happened here. A Nito individual? Looks like a lot has happened in my absence. I'm just as surprised by what's happened on your end. These isomers seem to be protecting the labs by themselves. Did their original controllers abandon this place because they knew we were coming? If only things were so simple. Well, it would make no difference to us even if it was for some other reason. So, what should we do now? We need a doll who can connect to their neural clouds. You've hacked a Nito before, so it should be easy for you. Wait a minute, how do they have neural clouds if they're humans? I wouldn't have believed it either if DeFi hadn't verified it with me over and over again. However, it's true that these kids have neural clouds that can be entered. Their consciousness have been physically embodied, like a doll's. Like a doll's, huh? What kind of freaking experiments did they go through? We can discuss this question at length once we get them out of there. In any case, right now the only ones in Sangvi's ferry that can still hack through the August protocol are the Sangvi's mastermind and the former AR team member. M16, who seems to be looking for something just like us. But of course, I don't think her motives are as simple as helping Sangis Ferry. She looks a little different now, but she doesn't seem to give a damn about SF. That's what worries me the most. An AR team member going rogue definitely has something to do with Ogas. I wanted to learn more about the dolls on the AR team from Posika, but I haven't been able to contact her for a very long time. There is also more to SF's attack on this base than meets the eye. We need to understand what Mastermind and M16 are after if we were to sort this out. We'll deal with things as they come then. That reminds me, I was also hacked a while ago, and the opposition seems to be checking my memories over and over again. Your memories? The memories of Operation Butterfly. I think I can guess what her reasons are. At the very least, one of her goals should be the same as yours, namely, uncovering the truth behind Operation Butterfly and finding the one who orchestrated the whole thing. Isn't that right? If that was her aim, then she shouldn't have stopped us. At least she's only hindering our progress and not outright eliminating us. Still, she's far too conceited. If that bastard, that damn William really is behind all this, then it's very likely that M16 may have unwittingly helped him carry out his plan. I'm worried that if we don't get ourselves out of this mess ASAP, the events of Operation Butterfly might repeat themselves. This is such a pain. Alright, if I want to connect to these juveniles, how should I do it? Enter their neurospace through this girl. Ange places a hand on the young Naito standing at the forefront and gently leads her up to 45. This is test subject EOT1, at least that's what she's referred to in the records. These girls don't know how to use weapons, so in order to fight back, she led us into different rooms and forcibly separated the 5 from me. She's a very clever girl. Fortunately, as a human, I couldn't be crushed like a doll, and so after we had a chat, she was willing to communicate and restore the 5 to normal. I worked out a rescue plan with her so we could escape, in exchange for the safety of all the children here. You might as well be a dubious kidnapper offering a kid candy while abducting them. I'm not like you. I keep my word. If only you had blushed even a little back when you paid us less than the sum we agreed on. Ange is a good person. The young Naito's eyes sharpened, as though 45 had uttered some kind of blasphemy. Alright, whatever you say. They are both victims and important witnesses. Therefore, rescuing them is part of the mission. Besides, I think I like kids more than I expected. Sometimes I think I wouldn't be able to stand you at all if it wasn't for the money. Now then, Miss Test Subject, how should I connect with you? Anna. Anna? Call me Anna. Do you give her that name? I'm not in the habit of naming other people. So she chose her own name? Sounds like she's a relative of yours. The self-declared Anna nods. She seems very happy with what 45 has said. The look of approval in her eyes deeply disturbs 45. Don't look at me like that. It's unsettling. Since you've hacked the Naito before, it means you should be able to set up a connection with these kids, and she will lead you into their base layer. However, you should be careful. SF will definitely try to take advantage of the opportunity that your entry gives them, and the attacks on you might intensify as a result. That said, you won't be alone in there. These kids will help you while you're in their base layer. You need to bring them out and help them escape their current predicament. Because that is also the only way we can escape our current predicament. Alright then, Miss Anna. Whether you're doing this for us or for yourselves, we best get started as soon as possible. Bobby!